Can we talk about how awesome
Is that your power
that
too?
fight was?
That was really cool. That was really awesome.
There were
Good
so.
job.
Oh, I was talking about the fight in the movie.
I was talking about yours on here.
This fight is actually really lame.
No, it's fine. You did well.
Thank you.
You did well.
Thank you.
I think we should recognize your efforts here.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I try hard.
You're fighting so many blueberries.
So many.
The Blue Man Group is after you hardcore.
They are. The Blue Man Group is out to conquer the world!
You've started the White Man Group, and they're really offended.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game.
God bless America, Captain America.
I thought we were going to do a
Captain of your
superhero
heart.
thing.
Come on.
Land that.
There
what?
was some miscommunication about what was going on. I thought we were doing superhero poses. You're
Being patriotic and wearing my red, white, and blue? Yes, Stephanie, thank you.
Uncle Sam over there. I don't know what's going on.
I want you to watch this live stream. Hey guys, and welcome to GTLive, where today we're playing some Captain America. But not only are we playing Captain America, we're discussing Captain America. It's thematically tied.
Deeply, philosophically, and funly.
And literally.
We're going to talk about the movie. There are going to be spoilers. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's really good. And if you have seen it, join us in talking about it and spoiling it.
The game that we're playing today, in association with us talking about the movie, is Captain America and the Avengers. It was for the arcades. It was ported to all sorts of systems.
Yeah.
We're playing the Super Nintendo version. I grew up playing this game. I didn't own it, but I would borrow it from friends. Never actually beat it, because it's actually pretty hard, as a lot of the arcade games from the time were.
You didn't completionist it?
I did not. So it'll be a fun kind of rehash of old school Marvel.
There are like no excuses. Play like a champion, man.
I know. I'm trying to make excuses. It's hard. These old school beat 'em ups are hard. And to my knowledge, I don't think there's any like real cheats that we can do to like give us more lives or anything. So anyway,
Someone looked at advanced, didn't they?
no. One of the things, as Jason pulls up the gameplay here, one of the things in here I want to set continues. I'll play on easy because we want to make progress in the game. We're going to set continues to 5 because, you know, we don't want to play the same level over and over again.
Sure, sure, that's it.
Well, yes, that is it. And also because I recognize that I haven't played this game in a long time, and so I might not be that good at it. The first thing I think I want to kick off with, though, is earlier today I posted a poll on Twitter asking you guys whether you were Team Captain America, Team Iron Man, or Team Screw Marvel, DC is the best for life.
What?
What do you mean, what?
I don't know.
Like, so here's my thought. I'm agnostic to the two. Like Marvel, DC, whatever. A good movie is a good movie. A good comic book character is a good comic book character.
I used to be agnostic until I started watching the movies. True story.
Really?
Yep.
So you've been converted to Marvel?
I have. I started off squarely in the middle, and I'm a huge Batman fan. I love Batman, and Superman's cool too. But after seeing so many Marvel movies, and maybe it's just the repetition of so many things out of the Marvel universe, I have now shifted and become a Marvel gal.
Really?
Yes, Marvel lady.
Real quick. Red Skull seeks to conquer the world with a team of supervillains. He has used a mind control machine to bring them under his power.
Oh man, what a bummer.
Right? Now he controls their every action.
Oh geez.
Who are these people?
Right?
Go at once, Avengers! Try to crush his evil scheme!
It's like chewed bubblegum man. You have like
Chewed bubblegum man.
you have like fake Tanner guy over there on the left. Captain Fake Tan.
Truly fighting all of the most iconic villains from
true.
the Marvel universe.
It's true.
Chewed bubblegum man.
I didn't say I was above making fun of Marvel. I just said I liked the movies. So you're playing as Vision.
I am
To
the
start off
Vision.
with, you are the Vision.
I am the Vision.
Who, again, I only know about because of the movies and because they've done such a good job of introducing characters through Marvel movies. I would have not known, like as a kid, I didn't know who Vision was growing up. Now, I'm all about the Vision.
That's actually 100% true to what I feel like too with this one is I had no idea who Vision was. Like when I would play this game growing up, because again, I wasn't like a hardcore comic book guy.
Right, he's just the one wearing a tube sock over his whole body.
Yeah, he was. Oh, and actually, when I would play this game growing up, he was actually my least favorite because I don't know, like he was so nondescript. All the other characters, like, oh, Hawkeye, he shoots arrows, that's cool.
What are you doing? What are you doing here?
I'm trying to pick him up. Captain America,
you were just sort of dancing behind him, doing the little shimmy.
we were doing a little shimmy. It was nice.
Oh no, there's Overly Tan Man. What?
Is that Overly Tan Man?
I don't know. Is that the same one? No, the other one had some sort of purple like briefies going on.
So it's interesting. Okay, so you say that you have been converted to Marvel.
I have.
Yeah?
Yeah. But I do want to check in with the poll because the poll you ran is really interesting. And let's see, there have been over 6,000 votes so far, so we've got a pretty good end going on Twitter.
Pretty good sample size.
And if you want to weigh in, there's still plenty of time. We can monitor it as the episode goes on. So right now, as it stands, the options were Team Captain America, Team Iron Man, or screw Marvel, DC for life. 38% Team Captain America. 39% Team Iron Man.
Really?
1% difference, and 23% screw Marvel, DC for life.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's really divided.
It is.
So the movie did a shoot. I'm not doing
The movie did a really good job of setting up both sides and getting people to root for one or the other. The thing, though, is, I mean, you are also factoring in a lot of the baggage that the characters are taking from other movies. Like if you saw Iron Man and you were just like, oh my gosh, Iron Man was such a cool movie, you're gonna end up kind of rooting for him in this one anyway, right?
Man, I am doing garbage against these guys. Sorry.
Oh, there's fake Tanner Man.
That is fake Tanner Man.
That's fake Tanner Man.
That is Octomom Man.
Octomom Man.
Octomom Man. Assemble.
And Poison Ivy, obviously.
Obviously. Really, I think of him as more of like an Electro from the Spider-Man.
How are you getting
series.
Electro? I'm getting like Algae Boy.
Algae Boy, assemble. No, so for me,
And these are the Blue Man group, just
thank you.
all over.
Thank you. The Blue Man Group.
There's
They actually
so many
come out
of
with
them.
like
They all look the same.
they come out with tubes and pipes and things.
Yeah.
They're not bald.
They're-
Tobias Funke has auditioned to be a member.
They're percussion oriented, you know.
No, one of the things I was gonna say though, so you've converted. I mean, I will say this. I find myself, like, I love the Batman Begins series, but I find myself, like, I wasn't a big fan of Man of Steel. It was okay. You know, Batman v Superman we can talk about here as we talk about everything else.
Yeah.
But I will say, when it comes to the movies as of late, I find myself enjoying the Marvel movies a lot more.
Oh, and
That being said,
guys,
I'm
the
not a-
survey, the people are asking in the chat where the survey is. It's on Twitter. If you go to his Twitter account, it's on
MattPatGT.
MattPatGT. You can hit it up.
Yeah, check it out, MattPatGT, if you want to vote for Team Cap, Team Iron Man, or DC for life.
Yeah. And in the meantime, Omar Awan says the tan guy is Claw with a K. He was in Avengers 2. That was clearly someone else. This is Octomom Man.
Octomom Man.
But no, thank you for bringing us in on the lore.
Right? It is interesting to see a lot
There's
of kind
so
of...
many.
Because I know one of the guys who appears in this game. So obviously Red Skull is the villain from Captain America, the first one,
Right.
and it's kind of like a recurring force ever since in that universe. You have Crossbones, I believe, appears later in this game, if I remember right, and he's someone who factors pretty heavily into the beginning of Captain America: Civil War. This guy. Is this guy Tornado? Hurricane?
Tornadoes, yeah.
This is Tornado
I
Guy?
don't know his name. I mean, it's like Mega Man now. It's like
Tornado
Right.
Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy is kind of like Windman from Mega Man 2. Because look, he even turns into the tornado.
Oh
and
man,
everything.
oh he does.
Oh, come on, I totally jumped over that tornado. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Tornado Man?
Jeez, Blitzen, stop it. God.
Blitzen?
He like
As in the reindeer stuff? What are you saying? Oh, get out of there.
Anyway.
Okay.
Let's see.
Oh, come on. Just stop. Just stop blitzing.
I feel like he's more of a prancer
Huh.
than a blitzen.
No, he's totally a comet.
No, he's a blitzen. He blitzes. That's what I was thinking. He blitzes. You know.
Look
Anyway.
at those gams, though.
Do you
He's
think-
definitely a-
Look at those gams. Are you checking out this guy's legs, Jason?
Is that what a gam is?
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
I believe
Is a gam a
Gams are
leg?
the legs.
I
didn't
believe
know-
the gams are the legs.
You and your
Gams are legs confirmed. Truth.
Jason has confirmed.
Proven.
Gams are legs. I don't know. What is that a term from the
Oh, sorry. He's
1940s?
whirlwind attack
Yeah.
was just a setup.
All right.
I gotta read the compelling story here.
The chat knew.
This is for Avengers
Chad
3.
always knows.
Other towns are being taken over. This is a spoiler alert for season, Avengers 3. Hurry, Avengers! Whirlwind attacks with his sweet gams and blitzes the Avengers, guys.
Yep.
That is what is happening after, Infinity War.
It's Gam Man.
Proven.
It's cool.
It's Gam Man. No, Gam Man. So, anyway.
There was another question from the chat, and I want to make sure that we're involving everybody in the discussion.
Jeez, holy cow.
Dylan Morin, I think, brings up an interesting
Wow.
point. Do you think people from America would not be fans of Captain America?
Do you think people from America?
Sorry, not from America would not be fans of Captain America. I could see that. Like, why would you inherently just like Captain America?
I think that
I think he's a cool guy.
I think as evidenced by the worldwide success of the Marvel movies, that people worldwide must be fans of Captain America, or at least...
Oh, no, absolutely. I'm thinking in terms of your poll.
Oh.
Do you think people in polls like that or who are watching Civil War are less likely to side with Captain America because they're like, meh, America, whatevs?
No, I maybe, if you don't know anything about the character,
Yeah.
perhaps. But I think at this point, Captain America has, made himself much more of, he's not, being Captain America comes with connotations, but I think at this point, there's so much more to him than just oh, he's American. And actually, if you look at the actions that he performs, or kind of his course of action in Civil War, he does not really behave like you would expect the true patriot hero to be.
Or does he?
Well, I don't know, and so I think that's a good place to. Okay, that's a good. Holy
That's
cow.
a good place to get your butt missiled.
It's a good place to start the conversation, though. I think I was surprised in Civil War, not knowing much about Civil War the comics, that Captain America is the guy who goes against governmental supervision. Because when I think of America,
Yeah, he's not too keen on the UN.
yeah, when I think of America, he's this American soldier, right?
Right.
He is the embodiment of the soldier, whereas Iron Man is Mr. I play by my own rules, I do my own thing, I trust myself.
Yep.
And so to see those two representing two opposite sides of the coin, that was surprising to me.
I was surprised about that too, and for Iron Man's part, and I love Iron Man, I was kind of like, are you sure he's on this side? He's playing so nice compared to the way he usually does it, and like you said, he's usually all over the place on his own. I mean, he created the Vision for, he created Ultron rather in the previous movie.
Right.
And it was one of those things where it's he went rogue. He created Ultron, and that was just him doing his thing. So it's weird that now he's, in this one, he played so nice.
Yeah, I think for me, it's one of those things where when I think of Captain America, I think of the dutiful soldier, I think of, protecting the American way, this and that. And when I think of Iron Man, I think of the capitalist who does it his own way, he's innovative, whatever, he's the rebel, right? That's always what he's been.
Yeah.
you brought it up best, I think, where last big movie, Age of Ultron, he creates Ultron. He goes against everyone, basically being like, hey, this is probably a bad idea. And he's like, whatever. I'm smart. I can do it. I'm going to create
I'll
this.
figure it out. No big.
And so for all of a sudden, for him, like, and I get that, like, the storyline of Captain America is Cap, protecting Bucky, his friend, and that's a big reason for his reasoning. But the other part of it is, like, he just says, I trust my own instincts more than I trust the government. Mm-hmm. Which is really interesting. Like, what if the government decides to side with someone else or whatever?
Right. Then you're sort of beholden to whatever they want.
I think.
So one thing that Jesus Otero says, Iron Man in the comics had ulterior motives. Jason, do you know anything about Iron Man's motives in the comics versus in the movies for choosing one side?
Yeah, if you guys know, let us know.
Yeah, if you know. Because the movies
fine.
can't fit in everything, right? The movies can't get all the details of the comics in every single time. So yeah, there's always like those little pieces of information that come out, and it's like, well, if you read the comics, you would know. Blah,
it
blah,
is, but they have crafted their own standalone universe. And like at this point, when you have I don't even know how many Marvel movies there have been at this point, like 10, probably more. Like, yeah, obviously there's been more than 10, duh. But when you have that many movies, like at this point, you should probably have a pretty good internal lore going, and you do that. And in this one, they chose to deviate from the comics and kind of the reasoning in the comics and stuff. So I think you should be able to justify it without. Here's my thought, and this might have been probably my biggest complaint about the movie. I know. So first off, let me say, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic, and just because I have complaints about the movie doesn't mean I think it was a bad movie. There's ways to make it better. And to me, the biggest, I think we're going to try to do a theory about this on Film Theory, spoiler alert, is how Captain America, or how Iron Man, to exactly that point, his motivation seems so out of character, and don't really go explain. So, the movie, based on how you see it in the movie, it's like...
You're doing great, by the way.
Thank you. This guy's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Based on how you see it in the movie, it's like, oh, one mother came to me and her child died, and now I'm really sad about it. And so I'm gonna sign the peace accords. I don't trust myself anymore. Oh, maybe we are doing the wrong thing. And it's like, really? When you compare that to like the hundreds of thousands, millions of people that you saved, it goes to kind of the game theory that we just did on Life is Strange.
Yeah.
Do you save, one person, or do you sacrifice 5 people to save one person, like the Life is Strange dilemma? In this case, do you sacrifice, say, 10,000 people to save literally the entire world?
Right.
Which, it's definitely bigger numbers, but to me, Iron Man is that guy who would just see it purely by the numbers, sacrifice a large number of people to save an even larger number of people. He doesn't let emotion, to an extent, but like he's more of a logic guy, like XYZ, I'm gonna sacrifice this to save this.
He's a strategy guy. He's into strategy.
And if the movies, and I was hoping that this would happen in Civil War, if Civil War had a line or two in there relating to like his regret over creating Ultron, and him seeing that his decision, like, I did go rogue and I did create Ultron, that was my fault, and so maybe my judgment isn't the best. Now all of a sudden, I buy the reason why he would sign over to the government, where I wouldn't before, and I didn't quite in this movie.
Yeah.
I think that, like, 1 or 2 lines, either him saying it himself, or someone referencing the Ultron situation to him, and being like, hey, you went rogue and you did this thing, and that was probably a bad idea, so, maybe your judgment isn't the best. And he's like, oh yeah, I get it. That would have done it for me.
Yeah.
And that was kind of one of the things that I wished the movie would have kind of explained a little bit better.
Yeah. Yep, I totally agree with that, actually. And we have some follow-up on the last question about Captain America. Actually, like, does it matter that he's American or not American? Nathan Ward said, as someone from Ireland, he instills certain characteristics that work well anywhere. And I think that goes to your point as well, where they've established his character and like him as a person, not just like as a symbol of some one country, right? He's like a universal symbol of like doing good, doing your duty, that kind of thing, standing by your country. Also, Quest said Black Panther was freaking awesome, even though they changed some of the stuff. So I guess it's not entirely true to the comics exactly how Black Panther was portrayed, but I also thought he was pretty cool.
Yeah, you like Black Panther?
I did. I liked Black Panther, and I guess he's a little bit more divisive in this movie than some of the other ones. But I don't have the background.
Divisive as in like people didn't like him, or
I've read, the character itself. I think the portrayal of him was fine. But some people have been like, it's not. Whoa!
Bad touch, robot, bad touch. Sorry, go ahead.
People have been like, oh, he's not entirely accurate to the comics.
Interesting.
But I thought he was cool. He was another one I didn't know anything about, and I, was able to discover him through the movie, and now I'm starting to learn about what his actual history is in the comics, and that's cool.
Oh, more bad touches. So many bad touches. He's one that I would have liked to have spent more time with him.
To get to know him a little better.
And granted, you'll get to spend more time with him in his movie, but he was one that in this movie, he was an interesting character. He was really cool. I like the way he is. I want to learn more, because as he was in this movie, it was purely revenge. I need my vengeance. I need to kill this guy.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen more bits and pieces of his character, but I like what I'm seeing so far. I'm excited to, it made me interested in this character that I had absolutely, similar to Vision, I had absolutely no familiarity with up to this point.
Who is, and that's who we're playing right now. I saw a couple people in the chat ask who we're playing right now. We're playing as Vision.
Right? He looks a little bit different than the guy that you see on screen.
Yeah.
Which I think is funny. I love the way, and actually that's a good segue too. I love the way that Vision appears in the movies.
Yeah, he's so cool.
He's so cool and also uncomfortable and awkward. The thing to remember about Vision is this is a computer program that was basically brought to life, right?
Right.
And I think what's so cool about the way, especially he appeared in this movie, because the first movie, or in Age of Ultron, he just kind of, he comes into being for the first time at the very end. But this movie, you get to actually see him in action, and I love the moments, them just sitting around the Avengers headquarters, and he's awkwardly in this sweater vest, in his little whoa, hey, Captain Helicopter.
Oh man.
He's in his sweater vest. He's so awkward.
It's
and
a scythe.
He's very clearly trying to play at being human, and is so failing so hard at doing it.
What is that thing? He has a pickaxe arm.
It's Captain Pickaxe instead of Captain Punch.
Right?
Oh, obviously. His special ability is mining.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously so. He's from
expensive.
He's actually from District 12. His special ability is mining.
Coal mining.
Shoot, she's a hero. No!
He's very warm in the winter though. It works out really well.
Woo, hey, Captain Helicopter. Ah!
Oh no!
Get out of here. Plam, crack. Crack you in the face.
I noticed you were also getting a lot of plams on the boss. That's exciting.
Getting all sorts of plams. He got a plaque on me.
Nah, he's plamming you good.
But
that was a smash. Oh, and a plam. Oh my god.
But I will say, the way that Jarvis, aka Vision, I think he's really cool for being kind of the cold, logical character. It's a lot of fun to see him. Sorry.
Yeah.
Red Skull has commanded his team of villains to fight the Avengers to the finish.
Oh man.
All right. Cool story, bro.
Cool story, brah.
What has Red Skull planned next? Cool. Fantastic.
I thought we just established that what he planned next was to fight the Avengers to the finish.
Apparently, that involves challenging from the bottom of the sea.
Oh, lame.
Exciting.
Water level.
So, okay. So, I like Vision. I'm trying to think of... But if we're talking characters, and I'll be curious to really get the chat's input on this, but if we're talking characters... Clearly the all-star of Civil War, to me, Ant-Man and Spider-Man, great. Across the board, fantastic.
So good.
Ant-Man was one of those that kind of, like, people liked it, but it slipped under the radar.
Yeah.
Ant-Man was probably one of my favorite Marvel movies to date. That and Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, might be my two favorites.
Yeah, mine too. They're so good.
Because they do such a good job of blending smart humor with, like, really good action sequences, really, really funny, just, I love them. I'm in love with
Real
these.
quick, we're getting some comments that the music in the game is too high right now.
Really? Okay.
Jason is incredulous.
Jason is
Does
like,
not believe
Jason
you.
is like, I am flawless, like Vision. Sorry, but before we get too far into Ant-Man
Jason looks a little bit like
and
Vision.
Spider-Man, I think I do
He's pale-ish, you know.
I do have to say,
He's Irish.
Here's Bubblegum Man, by the way.
Oh, he's back. Chewed bubblegum man.
Chewed Bubblegum Man, he does I. Ooh, can also do. Whoa, hey, whoa, this guy is enthusiastic.
Yikes.
He is
Well,
super excited.
It's vigorously chewed bubblegum.
Whoa, hey,
Oh
hey,
my gosh.
calm down.
Oh my gosh. He's tossing pizza at you or something.
So one last thing about Vision that I realized I hadn't really thought about until this movie, but if the Infinity Wars happen, it seemed, I mean, obviously the Infinity Wars are happening because that's a movie, that has been planned and budgeted for and is in process right now. But what it taught me, this movie made me think, oh yeah, by the way, Vision has to die in order for his Infinity Stone to end up in the Gauntlet.
yeah.
So like,
I know.
so yeah, I'm curious about that. Unless they come up with some like weird. Oh, here's Swimsuit Man.
Oh man, it's Venice Beach Man.
Venice Beach Man. It's the Submariner, guys.
No.
Vision just called him the Submariner.
It's Tony Horton.
Tony Horton. But no, Vision has to die, which is really intense. I think that's gonna be really
I know.
sad.
Mariner.
Submariner. The Submariner. He likes submarine sandwiches. He likes $5
I don't know.
footlongs from
Doesn't look
Subway.
like he eats very many carbs.
Submariner. So anyway, so that was one thing about that was one other thing that occurred to me about Vision. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
I thought it was actually as once he like fires the beam that sends War Machine to the ground. I'm like, oh wait, he's powered by Infinity Stones. That's right. I forgot about that.
Like that one in the middle of his face.
Right. So that was that. But okay. But really, Steph, let's talk. Let's talk real talk. Ant-Man, Spider-Man.
Awesome.
So good.
Both.
So good.
Ant-Man I think was my favorite of the two. I thought Spider-Man was awesome, and it was a take on Spider-Man that was so refreshing after emo Spider-Man, like super cocky Spider-Man, like to have fanboy Spider-Man was perfect. Like it was so awesome.
Yeah.
And he was still like really powerful and he really held his own, which was also awesome. But he was like the fact that he went up to Captain America and was like, "Oh my gosh, dude, such a fan." Like and that he loved the gadgets and all that. My one problem with Spider-Man in this movie was that did it seem to anyone else like he's just being bribed into fighting on Tony Stark's like literally Tony Stark is like, I'll give you a nice costume, I'll give you fun gadgets, I'll fly you across the world. Don't tell your aunt. We're gonna go have fun. Like
that seems like less of a problem with Spider-Man and more a problem with Tony.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, which it is.
Which I agree. He goes into the bedroom. He shuts the door. He locked the door,
Stark's
right?
like, can I talk to your can I talk to your son or your nephew who I've never met before?
Yeah.
Alone in a locked room where I'm going to sit next to him on his bed and rub his back a little bit.
Yeah,
Like, it was like, whoa.
It was like kind of creepy Uncle Tony.
Yeah.
I will say that. It was a bit odd.
Bad touchy.
It was a little bit of
all
bad touch.
sorts of bad touches
Right.
on behalf of Iron Man there.
Yeah.
But I did. On one hand, I liked kind of like, hey, I'm the older, more experienced superhero. I'm here to kind of like show you the ropes, guide you. But he's such a he's lying to the kid. He is outright lying to him about like, hey, by the way, I'm gonna have you fight against all these other like super.
You might die.
That it made it hard to kind of like justify. And also against Tony in this case is the idea of he argues against the Winter Soldier. He's like, oh, we gotta bring him to justice and this and that. He argues on behalf of like, oh, we need to be tools of the government.
Yeah.
But then he's like, oh, but Bucky is wrong. But Bucky, at his core, was a tool of a larger body, right? He was acting of Hydra in this case.
Yeah, of Hydra, which was S.H.I.E.L.D., which is like government.
Well, no, that was
that
before. That was, you're thinking
Yeah.
Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I am. Okay.
But he was actively a tool for Hydra because he was brainwashed and this and that, which is what Tony is arguing on behalf of when it comes time for, signing the peace accord or, the Sokovia Accord.
Tony, yeah. So
So it's a bit hypocritical.
The thing is, I think, like, it's because it's such a legitimate question. Like, what oversight would this kind of person have in real life or whatever? Like, how do you control this technology that's just so completely powerful? So it's a really legitimate question, and I feel like Tony's side in some ways wasn't like, I just wasn't sure I was buying it.
Oh
man, is that?
Oh my gosh, stop holding me!
Oh, his power is that he has one of those splat hands.
His splat.
Bad touching.
It's
With the power of
Tony
bad
touch.
It's Tony Stark! No!
Oh
No, unlock the door, Tony! Stranger danger! Stranger danger! I don't care that you're rich and smart and a superhero. Stranger danger!
Sammy Young says a lot of people thought Spider-Man was cast too young and thought it was cool if they didn't redo the origin story. I am glad they didn't redo.
Right? It's
the
like,
origin
how
story.
many times do we need the Spider-Man origin story?
Right? It's like the Batman origin story. It's like, oh my gosh, come on.
Well, and I was a fan of Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield, it was okay, I guess.
Just less so,
Like, it was a different interpretation. He was kind of arrogant. Like, when I think Spider-Man, I think of like the awkward nerd.
Right.
Which is what this new Spider-Man is, which is why I'm really excited about it. Like,
yeah, and he did such a good job. Like the actor did such a good job.
He
of
is the fanboy.
making it so real. Yeah, it was great. It was great.
One other thing that I think is really smart that Marvel's done at this point is you have 3 different characters who are all able to serve as the voice of the audience, right? So if you think about it, you have Deadpool, who is obviously, fourth wall breaking. He's the voice of the internet. The internet loves him for these reasons because he's able to say everything that the audience thinks. He is a YouTube comment thread brought to life. But in a lesser way, and in a less fourth wall breaking way, you have Ant-Man and you have Spider-Man, both who are also voices of the audience. When Spider-Man in Civil War says, hey, Captain America, your shield doesn't obey physics at all. That was the biggest laugh that I got of the whole movie. I died because earlier in the movie, you and I had even looked at each other after Captain had thrown his shield and it ricocheted across 4 things and it goes back to him.
Yeah, and we're like, come on, man.
It's so goofy. I love it. I love it because it's so goofy.
Yeah, and
over the
it
top.
calls out that kind of thing. But after you call it out, it's it's legitimized. It's oh, okay, it acknowledges itself, and therefore I don't have to worry about okay, the shield really doesn't obey the laws of physics here. What's going on with it? It's no, they know, they get it, and then you're in on the joke, which is cool.
Yeah, and that's exactly it, right? So I think Marvel's been really smart to have all these characters, hey buddy, who fulfill. Hey, Captain Samurai Phaser here. Man, hey.
Jeez, all right.
But no, it's interesting because we live in a very meta time in entertainment as a whole, right? Where we just love to kind of crack jokes about meta things, or nitpick the logical inconsistencies
nothing
of
takes
movies
itself
and stuff.
seriously,
This is the CinemaSins era where it's oh well, he wouldn't actually do that in real life, or what about all those people who died in the building and stuff? We are very much based in logic now, and so having characters in the Marvel universe who are able to kind of call attention to that and kind of make light of it, and like you said, self-acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Makes it a lot more palatable to the modern audience.
Yeah.
In a way,
it brings it back brings it back to Earth, right? Like it makes it much more relatable. And you're like, oh yeah, I noticed that too, and now it's something that we relate on. And you know, oh, I thought that about the movie. Oh, the movie thinks that about the movie. Like it's a cool way to connect with an audience, you know?
Right, the little winking nod.
Yeah.
It goes
Good job,
a
by
long
the
way.
way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It goes a long way. And it's something that to this point, the Avengers have located Red Skull's hideout.
Cool.
Have uncovered his, and also apparently have uncovered his plans to build a secret base on the moon.
On the moon.
And
We shouldn't worry about that.
And to arm it with a giant laser cannon.
That's maybe a bigger problem.
Laser. If his plan is carried out, it will mean the... What will it mean? What will it mean? Destruction of not only America, but of what else?
All those other parts of the world out
The
there.
whole Earth. The whole Earth as well. Details.
America and all that.
Which America? There's more than...
North, South?
Yeah.
We'll never know.
North America,
We'll never
South.
know. Okay.
Come on.
So-
Come on, game. Progressive. But real quick, just to put a button on that.
Yeah.
I think that's something that DC is missing right now, and we might see it more in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Some more of that like tongue-in-cheek humor, and I hope that we do.
It seems like they're going in that direction, right? It seems like they're going straight for that.
And it's a smart move because I think they need it.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that that I've read about, and I don't know if they're still adhering to it, but that I had read about is that, you know, DC kind of in their movies has this call to action of like no humor. You know, there's not.
Where did you
supposed
read that? Because I haven't heard. I mean, I've heard you say it, but I haven't seen that. Where is that?
I can't cite the source. It was a news article on a
you rumor monger.
No, it was a news article on some blog somewhere
Yeah.
that I had read.
But I mean, it does sort of seem to carry through with you know the way that Batman v Superman was done.
There was a little bit of humor in
There's
Batman
a
v
little
Superman,
bit,
not
but
too
it's,
much.
You know, they don't go in for the same kind of humor that you see in a lot of the Marvel movies right now, which is fine.
Which is fine. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's just a different style.
Well, and it's also one of those things that, you know, their humor is a part of life.
Right.
You know, like people joke.
What?
I know. Go figure.
That's ridiculous. Fight the blueberries.
People try to be funny. You know, as evidenced by this live stream on a regular basis. People attempt to be humorous. You know, try and fail or whatever, but it's an important part. And so if you're just saying outright like, hey, humor can't be a part of this universe or whatever,
Yeah.
you're missing out on a big thing that's gonna make your franchise more realistic.
Yeah.
You know?
I want to hop into the chat
Yeah,
here
absolutely.
for a few minutes. Let's just read off some comments that we've been getting in.
I could go on forever on this.
pouring in. Jake Gillette, first GTLive. Yeah, clap and half to you.
Hey, 11.5. Hope you enjoyed. Oh my gosh! Stop giving me a hug. Bad touches.
So many bad touches.
So many Tony Starks.
Three-way crash, Ant-Man love. Dylan Dasliva says, hi. Daniel Lawrence, can you name all the DC and Marvel characters? No.
Nope, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Jerry Paris, 41434. Can you guys talk about your thoughts on Scarlet Witch?
Oh my gosh.
I really like Scarlet Witch in this one.
I do too.
Yeah.
So
I think she's really interesting. And totes OP.
oh my gosh, she's so incredibly overpowered. That scene where because that was going to be one of my big questions coming into this movie, was the fact, was the fact that, wow, this guy is just aggressive.
Here, well, we can put a pin in that. You fight this guy. I'm going to read a few more comments in the chat. We'll come back to Scarlet Witch.
Okay, we'll talk about Scarlet Witch in a minute.
Because she's totally worth the conversation. Wolf Attack 626. Hey, Matt Pat, what's up? Not much. Just hang
trying to beat this roller derby guy.
Doc Indigo. Matt Pat would make a great Spider-Man. That's nice.
Thank you. Thank you because I'm nerdy and you know.
Savage Samurai, my third live stream. Yes. Nicholas Alvarado. Toby was the best. Fair enough. I think it's Toby Maguire. Let's see.
Oh my god.
Also, Kyle Esser. Tobey Maguire was good as Spider-Man. Let's see. Ooh, Alexander Menny, do an Iron Man episode to show what his suit would do to him in combat. So how the suit would function in combat.
Game over!
Aww.
Aww.
Wow, there's a lot of love for Tobey Maguire. Erin Aaron Yeager, Tobey Maguire was my favorite. Ethan McMillan said from this movie, Spider-Man was virtually perfect. That's awesome.
Agreed.
Spider-Man may become a villain due to his selfish acts. Oh no, that was S. the Mayor.
Oh, S the Mayor.
Yeah, you know.
We have the Mayor watching us right now. That's exciting.
Well, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. Anyway.
It was nice to get through a movie with Spider-Man and not hear that once.
I think you should just play the game.
What? That's
There's also a lot of Toby Stank in the.
Toby Stank.
Tony Stank.
Oh.
As in Stark, but it's an N instead of an R.
Yes.
And it becomes Tony Stank.
See, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Toby Stank.
Is just
Very different.
Toby would be stinky. Anyway.
Toby Maguire Stank.
Yeah, seriously.
So, one of the things do you want to talk about Scarlet Witch?
Yeah, so let's talk Scarlet Witch. Let's see. Let me just get through a few more of these really quick. Black Panther was my favorite. Toby was horrible. Toby was okay. Garfield had a better Spider-Man persona. Oh man, there's tension building in the chat over Spider-Man right now. Do a Spider-Man episode. Spider-Man episode would be pretty awesome. Stan Lee. There's a lot of support for the Stan Lee cameo, which was funny. I like that one.
What, Jason? Jason?
Jason's like rolling his
are you
eyes
being
back there.
Judgy McJudgerson over there?
Yep.
What? What? Did you have a problem with the Stan Lee cameo?
I don't like any of the Stan Lee cameos in any of the movies.
Oh,
Jason.
This one was the best one.
Oh, okay. What's wrong with
Whatever.
What's wrong with the Stan Lee cameos?
Jason's like an artistic purist. He's like,
Jason's like,
shouldn't be appearing in the film.
it breaks from the world building of the piece,
It's
the dramatic narrative.
It's so forced.
It's so
I
funny.
hate forced Easter eggs.
So are you hating on Alfred Hitchcock then? Is that what you're telling me right now? You an Alfred Hitchcock hater? Because he was in all his movies.
True.
Fun fact.
Being in your movie is different than having a forced cameo experience for the fanboys.
Oh.
Those are two separate things.
Okay, I that makes sense to me.
Quentin
Alright.
Tarantino is also in his films a lot,
It's
but
true.
they're not forced
I don't know.
liners.
I don't know if Stanleys are necessarily forced
Are they
all the time.
Would you say that they're forced?
This
This one was a bit. This one was a bit more obvious.
shoehorned. Yeah, this one was a little bit more obvious. But
it's
like
fun.
there's been
I don't
ones
know.
that at the beginning I didn't notice, like in the first few.
Really?
What was the first one? I'm trying to think
I don't
what the
remember,
early
really.
ones were. It's hard to remember. This one was funny though, and Tony Stank.
Tony Stank is probably the best part of the cameo.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Tony Stank a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Plus it's just so memeable. It's
And
great.
and we have more people asking to talk about Scarlet Witch. So
Let's talk about Scarlet Witch then.
she was awesome. I was not a big fan of her actually in Age of Ultron. I thought she was fine, but I didn't really understand who she was. And again, not coming from the comic background, unless you have a really distinct personality on some of these superheroes, it's hard to know why they're there or distinguish what they're doing. I was like, okay, she's one of the twins or whatever. Okay. And she's got this superpower that sometimes works and sometimes doesn't, and she's crying all the time. What is wrong with her? This one, I thought she was really well motivated. I really liked her character. I thought she was really cool. And she has an awesome ability. Her ability seems to be able to do anything.
Yeah, right.
And it was really cute that what's his name had a crush on
Vision.
her. That Vision had a crush on
I
her.
don't think it's a crush so much as it is. Oh my gosh, let me jump!
I think it's a crush.
No, I think what it is, it's a.
Do you not think he's capable of feelings, Matthew?
I think what it is, I think it's more of a parental arrangement, right?
Protective.
Yeah, I think he's
Older
just.
brother.
Yeah, I think he's protective of her rather than.
I don't know.
crush.
Some of those zoomed in shots on their faces and stuff, where he was gazing into her eyes and stuff. I got crush impression. No?
I
No?
don't think so.
I back me up here. Am I wrong about this? Did I just read that wrong?
I think you're just shipping them.
I might be.
you
I might
just
be
wanna
shipping
ship.
them. I might be shipping them.
You just OTP, like me and JonTron. OTP. No,
Pikachu, we can still hang out together. It's fine. But
No, that was my impression. I thought that it was very much just a parental or kind of like you said, older brother, old sister, sibling.
Wait, hold on. Crush. Jessica Lee, crush. Kasim Gemma.
Yes.
So it's a spoiler for the comics. Should I say it?
No.
Oh no.
Oh,
I
wait.
shouldn't say it. It's a spoiler for the comics.
I don't know. I'm not.
You could say. So
Okay.
You could
my
say
thing
it
is
because I don't
so
think.
much deviations from the comics.
Okay.
And all this.
In the
stuff.
comics, then they're married. Emery Carroll, it's a crush.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
No
Richard
way!
Ames, they do it in the comics.
No way!
Yes, I told. Thank you.
No
I feel
way!
so justified now. Oh, it's a crush.
Really?
Oh yeah, she's awesome in the cartoons.
Oh, that's so funny. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Scarlet Witch is like the best support ever. Yeah.
Take that out of it. On screen,
Yeah.
it does not look like a crush scenario.
I think it does. Adigo 720. Math Pat, it's a crush, you blind peanut.
I am a blind peanut. What was I thinking? I'm such a blind peanut. How could I be so blind as a peanut?
Just Scary Nom, crush.
It's
Vision and
just
Scarlet Witch best ship, says Dr. Smart 20.
so that every time we touch.
It's just some little thing, not like everything we do. Depends on. Anyway,
Yep, that's
we're gonna
it.
get copyright struck.
So anyway, what was I gonna say? So that was one of the things that I was really interested to see because I thought whatever side Vision is on in this movie, whether he's on, and obviously the promotional material shows that he's on Tony's side. I thought that whatever side Vision was on, I'm like, oh, it's done. That's it. Like, there's no way that you can counteract the Vision because
can't.
he's powered by an
Vision.
Infinity Stone.
Yeah.
But no, they did a great job of making sure, like Scarlet Witch, I didn't realize how powerful Scarlet Witch was. I walked away, like you, Ultron, not a fan. She was just kind of like there, emotional, whiny, like I didn't really know what to make of her.
But I also really appreciate that when she accidentally kills someone, like, because really up to this point, you never hear about like the collateral damage of all of this stuff that they're doing, and she feels guilty
Oh, absolutely.
right away. And I was like, oh, she's really real. Like, you would feel really badly when you see that you've accidentally killed a bunch of people like several times.
Yeah, and I think I walked away a huge fan of her after this one too. Like you, for exactly that reason. Like she adds such an interesting dynamic to everything that's going on. Like you said, she is so emotionally available and like she feels, the pressure and stuff. Like it's great. I was a big fan. I thought her power set, like she is a force to be reckoned with, man. She is so overpowered.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see kind of how she evolves and how they kind of counteract her powers moving forward.
Right.
So that was really exciting. I'm a huge Scarlet Witch fan now.
Me too. Yeah, me too. I can't wait to see more of her. Interesting question from Alexandra Morrison. Would you like to be a superhero? If so, what would be your power? So difficult.
I mean, it would have to be just from practical standpoints, power flight. You just have to do it.
Yeah.
Like it saves so much time. Jason, once again, shaking his head in the corner. Jason, let's toss it to you. What do you say?
Space-time manipulation, better than flight, get you there quicker.
Is that same as teleporting?
Is that
It's time-stopping and teleportation.
time stopping and teleportation?
It's space-time manipulation. It's
That
one
seems
thing.
like
That seems excessive.
OP.
It's
That
one
seems
thing.
way
Seems
OP.
excessive,
No,
Jason.
that's even
Choose one. You
Even
get-
Doctor Who needs a phone booth to do that. Like you can't,
Hero
and he can
Nakamura
only do it one dimension at a time.
Jason, you get one. Do you get to stop time or do you get to teleport? That's what you get.
It's teleportation then.
Okay, because
No,
yes,
he
that's correct.
totally chose wrong. No, you chose wrong.
No.
It's time stopping.
No, he chose
No.
right.
No, he didn't.
Teleportation.
No, he totally chose
No,
right. He
if
totally
you
chose right.
stop time, you can just actually travel to the other point and
that's what-
achieve
yeah.
teleportation
How are you getting there?
anyway.
How are you getting there? Which is why it's one thing, because it's time-space continue.
Heck, you could
One thing!
Go home. You're the worst.
you could walk. Time is stopped. You have all the time
So
in
you
the
still have
world.
to exert energy. No thank you.
I'm burning calories.
No,
thank
Stop being
you.
late. Stop being a fat pat.
I'll get there.
Don't be a fat pat,
I'll get there
Jason.
immediately, and I'll be nice and svelte.
Don't be a fat pat, Jason.
Sounds awful.
Why? You could stop. I actually think that time stopping would be my superhero
Time stopping
power.
is now my superpower.
Absolutely.
Actually.
Absolutely. Because you can stop time. And look, think about this. Anytime anyone asks you a question you don't know the answer to, you can stop time,
Google
find
it.
the answer, and then you never don't know anything. You can get anywhere you need to be in an infinitely short period of time. You just stop time and then you go. And like,
Unless you're Jason and you're lazy and you just sit there while you stop time.
yeah, Jason's a bum though. So
Jason.
So yeah, stopping time would be my would be mine.
Yeah,
Yep.
there you go.
Time manipulation.
But now you understand why it is actually one power. Because
not.
stopping time still allows you to get to a point and then time resumes, i.e. teleportation.
Whatever.
Okay. No.
It's one fabric.
Oh my gosh. We've entertained Jason enough. Can we talk about how awesome
Is that your power
that
too?
fight was?
That was really cool. That was really awesome.
There were
Good
so.
job.
Oh, I was talking about the fight in the movie.
I was talking about yours on here.
This fight is actually really lame.
No, it's fine.
This
you did well.
Thank you.
You did well.
Thank you.
I think we should recognize your efforts here.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I try hard.
You're fighting so many blueberries.
So many.
The Blue Man Group is after you hardcore.
They are. The Blue Man Group is out to conquer the world.
You've started the White Man Group, and they're really offended.
What power? Vision power. No, I wanted to talk about the Civil War fights, because that was another one that was like
Which
awesome.
one? The one at the end?
There was
The airport fight?
the thing. So all of them were great, but the thing I would say is, and this is one of the other reasons why I'm really enjoying the Marvel movies and the cinematic universe they've been building, is their fights are so well motivated, and don't forget the characters, right? So like as Ant-Man is crawling through Iron Man's suit, he's still making jokes. He's still, in there being like, this is your conscience, which was hilarious. It was so funny. The fact
It was
that
really clever. They did such clever things in so many different dimensions with all the fights. It was really
yeah,
good.
and everything is always kind of like motivated by character first. And I think that's the most important thing when you're doing any sort of movie, and it's easy to forget when you're talking about superhero movies, is their characters first. And yes, they have, superpowers and whatever, but at their core, they're still characters with motivations, with personalities, with a unique voice. And Marvel uses fight scenes like the airport fight scene and the one at the end with Bucky, Captain America, and Iron Man as just kind of like new situations for those personalities to demonstrate themselves.
Right. It's not just like a duke it out moment. It's a moment for them to show how they make decisions, which is what makes good characters.
Yeah, exactly. So like, you're watching, Captain America and Iron Man fight, but you're still getting information about who these people are and about like how much they regret like having to do stuff like this.
Yeah.
And like every blow of the shield or every punch is like you see the kind of like the pain in their eyes and stuff. It's great. Spider-Man is swinging around and like fighting Bucky, but at the same time it's like, oh my gosh, that's a metal arm, that's so cool. Ant-Man is making quips, and you have I'm trying to think of like what other really standout moments there were.
There were so many. There were really good moments.
You have like Hawkeye being like, I never thought we met, and things like.
Yeah.
There's.
You don't usually talk this much during a fight. Okay.
Yeah, but
All right.
it's just so well done.
Yeah.
That they recognize that like it can't just be like, let me blow up a bunch of stuff. It's let me also. Oh no! The game takes a little bit of time to load.
Oh my gosh, Mr. Sideman is back.
But they recognize that all of these are situations and opportunities to build more and deeper, richer characters.
Yeah.
And I think that is so huge from a storytelling standpoint that, you know, was one of the things, honestly. Oh no, I'm Hawkeye. Oh, lame. Hawkeye is not as good as Vision in this game. Actually, they're all kind of the same. I think they are.
I like the range. I like the range you've got on that guy.
Yeah, he has slightly better range than everyone.
The non-flying doesn't help though. I'm gonna hop into Twitter really quickly while you dispatch with this fella. Dominique at DZMDLS, I was laughing about this one before. Have we not learned anything from Life is Strange? Don't mess with time, guys.
Right?
Smart.
Yeah, Jason.
Smart girl.
Don't mess with time.
I picked teleportation at the end of the day. You both picked time stopping.
Jason,
Sean,
you also picked time stopping.
Sean Froman at Sean Shark 1. Blame Jason for ruining superpowers and stopping time is way better.
Worst, Jason, worst.
Let's see. Although Joshua Caleb says space-time manipulation for the win. Let's see.
Those powers are always linked.
Whatever.
Great.
So no,
Thanks,
the thing is, if you're gonna go, I'm telling you. God. Let's see.
By the way, the TARDIS does do space-time manipulation.
One at a time. You can either do space or time.
No?
You can do both at the same time? In the TARDIS?
He goes to different planets and in different times.
I thought he had to go one dimension at a time
No,
though, as he's traveling
He
it.
sets all coordinates in.
Alright, fine, whatever. So, at xdimzrazy on Twitter, I actually didn't like how the airport fight scene was a little more comedic than dramatic and serious. Should it have been more dramatic?
Ooh, that's a good question. Should have been more dramatic. For me, I would say no. I think you get your dramatic fight at the end with Captain America and Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
I think what you get with your hey buddy. I think that because
I agree with that. I think you have a good balance of dramatic and comedic fights. And for me, actually one of the things that happens in movies that have too much of that just like samey action sequences, I actually get bored during the fights. They're like the most high action moments and they're like explosions going off, but I'm like, all right, I know how this ends. I see where this is going. Like, I get it, fine. And I get kind of bored. But in this case, because there were these moments where it comedically broke things up, and then you have Iron Man getting huge, and you have, you know,
Ant-Man getting
sorry,
Iron Man getting huge.
No. So Ant-Man getting huge and then shrinking back down. He's like, oh, what's gonna happen? So you create these smaller sets of stakes within the larger arc of the fight. And even with things like, you know, when Captain America loses his sword or something, like when Spider-Man gets a hold of it or whatever, like you create these moments where there's tension inside of the larger fight and there's interplay back and forth between the individual characters, and that makes it exciting and keeps you from getting bored before the fight's actually over.
Yeah, I think what it boils down to for me is that fights have dynamics, right? And not all fights are just like, let's rip into each other. It's you know, some fights are going to be it's similar to, like, you have gunfights, you have fist fights, you have things like that. You also have, you know, your more serious fights, you have your more intense fight, or your more funny fights, your more intense fights, things like that. And I think what that airport fight does so well is you see all these characters united for really the first time, and they're all bouncing off of each other in different ways, and it solidifies the relationships between these people, right? Like, hey, I've never met you before, so, you know, we're all kind of in this superhero family, but I'm gonna fight you right now. Like, that was a really interesting dynamic to me too, is they all have this commonality of, hey, we're special, we're unique, and we're all just kind of thrust into this weird, uncomfortable situation, but we'll be all okay at the end of this.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it was really interesting how they were all clearly still friends during it, and they managed to pull that off in like a convincing way too. Like, they don't have that vitriol that's going on between an actual like enemy. Are you laughing because I used the word vitriol?
No, I'm laughing because you said sword earlier instead of shield, so the whole chat is just
Oh, come on.
Sword, question mark, sword.
It's a shield. It's shield. He uses a shield. It's fine. It's fine. We all know what Captain America has. It's a shield. It's okay.
right? You can't misspeak.
I know.
One of the things I was gonna say
Iron
though.
Man also gets huge, so you know.
Iron Man does get huge. You know what I'm saying? One of the things I was.
Its mouth is going faster than brains.
It is. That's the beauty of live streaming. I will say real quick though, to the point about to the point about the fights though, and to the different dynamics of fights, I think that's, again, one of the things I've been enjoying about the Marvel movies is they also recognize that not all superhero movies are the same, right? So you have the Captain America series, Captain America series, which are much more in the vein of, like either the first one was kind of like a war movie, this one, Winter Soldier, was very much kind of like a spy or kind of more espionage movie. Same thing with this one, felt a little bit more like espionage or like Argo-esque.
Yep.
You see the trailer for Doctor Strange, which happened before the movie, and it's like Inception. It's like Inception, but for comic book movies, which I think is wild. And I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely interested in that. You have your kind of your Paul Rudd-esque comedies, which was Ant-Man. And so you hit so many different notes and so many different types of movie genres throughout all these movies that they don't feel the same, right? They feel, you don't get bored with them, which I like a lot too. And I think that's really smart, is different, not all superheroes are the same, not all fights are the same, and not all movies are the same.
That's true.
And so you hit different notes with all of them.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference too. It doesn't feel like you're watching the same movie over and over again. Lindsay Ferguson, Scarlet Witch and Vision have kids. They're twins named Billy and Tommy, and they become young Avengers.
There you go.
There you go. She included a picture.
Aww.
Yeah, I know. It's really nice. Let's see. Okay. A few more here. Ooh, don't forget about Black Panther's sister. Does Black Panther have a sister?
Apparently so.
That's exciting.
If the chat is telling us not to forget about her.
At Omagong27. Let's see.
Oh my god, oh my god.
There was also someone on Twitter a minute ago, Jason. I lost who it was, but they were saying, you know who could take down everyone, Jason? Birdman. I think they were threatening you with Birdman. So.
Harvey Birdman, attorney at law?
No, not
that one.
When you said Birdman, I thought you meant Birdman, the Academy Award-winning Best Picture of 2 years ago.
Could be that one.
Clearly Harvey.
Clearly
that
Birdman.
one. Yep. Let's see. How do you feel about the fact that Vision had feelings? Asks, I'm loquacious.
I don't mind it.
I don't know. I don't either. I think it's really cool. I think it's a super interesting look at like what AI would experience, what like real AI would experience.
I am human.
Chappy?
I am human. Chappy. Johnny Five is alive.
Oh man. Enchanting Muse at Lady and Muse. Cordy Patrick starts off the sword versus shield conversation, like all acronyms. It's true. I'm starting the opposite side. Let's see. I don't know. Michael Caritas, teleportation is better because you can reach places you otherwise couldn't. That's silly. That's just nonsense. Ooh. Let's see. This is an interesting one. Well, I'll take it. We'll bite on this one.
Oh no, I'm frozen.
Niam Theorist 15. I think it's Niam. I've never seen the Avengers universe. If I haven't seen it, convince me to watch them.
Never seen anything from the Avengers universe.
What would you say to convince someone to check out the series, to watch it? After we go through this. Oh, just kidding. Who cares about that?
Yeah, the storyline in this is
not as good as the movies.
Not super robust. What would I say? I mean, here's the thing, and I'm always a big proponent of experiencing things for yourself, so that way you can make judgments on them and talk about them knowledgeably.
Right.
So.
And actually, so it's interesting to point out, you can talk about something knowledgeably without actually having seen it yourself, but you'll never actually totally know what your own opinion on something is unless you actually see it. You can read all the Wikipedia entries you want, but until you do something for yourself, that's a completely different experience.
Yeah, and so, hey, bad touch. Tony Stark, bad touch.
All right.
Tony Stark alert, Stark alert. But to that point, I think one of the reasons why one of the things I would say to you about, oh my gosh, let go of me, Tony Stark, bad touch, is the fact that,
Tony Stank, stop.
These movies are such a huge part of cinema right now. They're such a huge part of entertainment. They're changing the way that stories are being told.
And they're changing a cultural perspective on what a hero is and what a superhero is, to be honest.
And again, it goes back to kind of what I was saying before, which is not all superhero movies these days are the same, right? Like, one movie is not like another, so if you're not a fan of the quote-unquote superhero movies, maybe you're just not a fan of the traditional superhero movie, but, some of these work very differently than what you would associate a superhero movie as. And
they go into, and to the point you were making before, Marvel does a really good job of taking superheroes into all different genres. You have espionage style movies, you have spy style movies, you have action adventure, they go through so many different genres through their superheroes because all of them have such unique personalities. So it's not like one superhero movie is like all the others. It's like one superhero movie looks like a spy espionage movie. One movie looks like a covert ops movie. One looks like a military movie, something else. So you get such a broad spectrum. You can't just see one of these and say that you've seen them all either.
That and the other thing I think that's worth mentioning, and we live in a really interesting time where right now you have to respect what Marvel has done. Which is, they have built, I don't know, I forget when the first Iron Man came out, but they have built this thing that, it's easy to not think about now, but they have built this incredible system where, look, it's like tens of movies, large $1 million blockbusters, all telling one cohesive story when it's all said and done.
It's never been done before. This kind of
across the
undertaking.
span of years and years. Like, if nothing else, and nothing like this has ever been done before, and quite honestly, I'll be wondering when the next time this happens again. And I know DC's trying to build it, but it's such a unique thing in the world of storytelling that it definitely warrants you watching it because they're making history. Quite honestly.
It's almost as if, these movies are so interesting in that you can almost sit down and just chain watch them like you would a Netflix show or something like that, where they're episodic in a way that movies have never been before, and how connected they are, and how you could actually just binge watch them starting from the beginning, like you would a TV show. Each one of them connects to the last one.
Or like you would GTLive streams.
Yeah, that too. You just put it on before you go to bed.
Yep. Fall asleep to our gentle lulling voices.
Dulcet tones. Anyway.
Good night, sweet theorist. Good night. Ooh, my voice is not there today. Sorry, went through puberty.
So anyway, it's pretty revolutionary when you look at it.
Yeah. So that's the reason I would say I will actively go out and watch things that I know that I won't like or that I don't expect to like, just so I can, experience them for myself. I said it twice. So I can experience them for myself. And a lot of times I'm surprised. Stephanie and I, a couple years ago, when we first moved out to California, had this goal of watching every Oscar Best Picture winner ever made.
Yeah, since the beginning of the Oscars.
And the thing is, I did not expect to like half of those.
Oh yeah, we thought it was going to be such a bore to get through all the older ones. Whew.
Right? But they turned out really good.
Yeah.
I was surprised that I liked movies like Gandhi and
Out of Africa.
The Last Emperor and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the thing is, had I not tried them in the first place, we would have never known. But now I can tell you from personal experience. Not Green Grow the Lion.
No, How Green Is My Valley.
How Green Is My Valley.
Worst.
I can tell you from personal experience. How Green Is My Valley? Nope. Garbage.
Oh my gosh, it's horrible. It's awful. Also, what is his name?
Tom Jones.
Tom Jones. Oh, that was
terrible.
A rough one.
Terrible movies. That should never have won.
Amadeus, unexpectedly really cool.
right?
I really like that one. But you don't know until you try this kind of stuff for yourself, and it's the kind of thing where now, actually, I like a lot more different kinds of movies because I tried those, and I was like, hey, these are really interesting. I don't like them for the same reasons that I like a Marvel movie, but
Yeah,
I like them, but I like them for their own reasons, and that's pretty cool.
Right.
So yeah, that's nice. Oh, how feel good.
Right? That was so beautiful.
Yeah. If anyone else has watched How Green Is My Valley, please feel free to weigh in.
I don't think anyone in their right mind has watched How Green Is My Valley.
Right?
Except for the Oscar voters of that year, and it must have been a slim picking year for movies, man.
Right?
That
What
was
else was out that
a
year? Because
terrible movie.
whoa.
so bad.
Yeah.
Stephanie, I have to ask. So, what else about Civil War are we hearing from people?
Okay, so I'm gonna go back in. Oh, there was actually one that came through a minute ago that I wanted to bring in. Jubilo said,
Jubilo.
I want the Incredible Hulk, and there was also someone a minute ago who asked, do you think that the Hulk and Thor should have been in this one? I think it would have been. I didn't really miss them, to be honest. In this particular one, I like both of them a lot, especially Thor. I didn't miss them in this one.
This is Ultron, by the way.
What?
Age of Ultron right here. There he is.
Ooh. Oh yeah.
Right?
Hey, buddy.
Ultron, no! I'm gonna drop
no!
Sarkovia on you.
Ready?
I'm gonna
Kick
die.
his buns. All right.
No!
Oh no. Made it so far.
There you go.
Aw.
So what now? Sorry, what was your question?
The question was, should Hulk and Thor have been in this movie?
I don't think so.
For
One, it would have been hard for them to be in this movie.
right. It would have been hard for them to be in this movie, like actually because they're filming other stuff, but
No, I meant like just from a logistics standpoint, because like one is a god, you know, like.
well, so that was what I was gonna say. It was like this is all
Guess
about
Ultron, you suck.
This is all about how you treat like how you're treating superheroes in the world, like on Earth, and to like try and put rules around what Thor can do, because Thor's an alien. That becomes weird. Like, do any of those rules even apply to him? Do they apply to him when he's on Earth? Well, like that muddles that conversation a lot, I feel like.
Right? Hey, God from Asgard, you
Yeah.
have to obey the UN, all right?
Right.
You're under our jurisdiction. Nope, not so much, friends. It's a little You're missing a little bit of logic there.
I'm gonna go back to my thinky pool while you guys sort this one out.
My thinky
Bye.
pool?
Yeah. And then for the Hulk is also in sort of a strange situation because he can't necessarily control when he changes all the time. Like he has to, and he doesn't like to change.
Right.
So if he's being called to action by the government to go after terrorists or whatever, he has to force himself to even be able to activate his powers, right? And that's something that in the movies it's been shown that he's not like always into, right? And if I were him, I wouldn't be either. So it's also kind of weird to involve him in those conversations too.
I think would have been cool to see those guys in this movie.
I think it's always cool to see them, but
right?
you know.
But were they necessary, or was I missing them? No. Hulk is funny, and they do good things with Hulk. Hulk has never been one of my favorite characters. He kind of stresses me out.
I like him more in these movies than I've ever liked him before.
Certainly, 100%.
And they make his character so likable that you sympathize with him a lot more than I've ever sympathized with him in other, like seeing him in TV shows and like in other places, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So they're awesome in their own right, but should they have been in this movie? No, I think they made a good call when leaving them out. The other question is, where is Cat Pat?
Where is Cat Pat?
Sleeping his face off
He is
somewhere.
sleeping right now.
When dinner time rolls around,
Cat
we will
Pat
see him.
in America.
Cat Pat in America?
Get it?
Unfortunately, yes.
Top quality humor. No, not a fan.
Yikes.
I thought it was a
the
winner.
random kid says Jason is awesome.
Thank you, random kid.
Thank you, random kid.
The Hulk is too OP. Let's see. Ooh, Hawk Pat. That's cool. That's your ship name with Hawkeye.
With Hawkeye.
Hawk Pat.
I like it. I approve that ship name.
Do a theory on the Vision. Huh, those actors are busy. That's true. Let's see. Ooh, Anthony, in 5 minutes they fixed Spider-Man and made me forget the last 5 crappy movies. That's really funny.
That's really funny.
Let's see. They wouldn't be able to pull their punches as much if they were in there. Yeah.
Right.
Let's see. Gibberish. Someone just wrote gibberish.
Oh, gibberish.
You know, maybe it was a meta commentary, either on the movie or the stream. Let's see. I don't know if I'm just ignorant about it or not, but can Ant-Man really grow in size? Isn't that giant man's job? So that's an interesting question, actually, because we did a theory on Ant-Man, and we did a theory on how if he actually maintained his mass, as in the number of atoms that are in his body, and you collapse them down to the small size that you actually see him as you know, Ant-Man, as tiny Ant-Man, especially when he goes subatomic, he would create like a black hole, because the density of his body would be so incredibly high that he would essentially just collapse all the mass around him because of his own gravitational force. If you expand Ant-Man, that's a whole other problem, because if he has the same number of atoms, he should really just float away.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit in that theory too.
Right.
Where it was like they blow up the Thomas the Tank Engine, they blow up the tank.
Yeah.
And this is purely based on the explanation that they give in the movie. Because
Right.
in the game, because in the comic books, as I understand it, based on the research, they actually explain it away where there's alternate dimensions and things like that explain it away. But in the movie, the explanation that's given is your mass stays constant, but
So you have
your
the same
volume
number of
is changing.
atoms. You have the same number of atoms in your body, and if you look at like the model of an atom has a lot of empty space in it. Like there's a nucleus in the middle, and then there's all the electrons around it, but there's a lot of empty space. And so the idea in the movie is that you like just crush everything down, so there's less empty space in Ant-Man.
Right.
But when you do that, the density of those particles becomes so high that it's actually when we calculated it was the same density as a black hole. And which just crushes everything in around it, and so it would actually be just incredibly destructive to be Ant-Man. But if the alternate is true, where when you get bigger, you're just expanding the empty space in atoms, then everything should get so far apart that it just breaks apart and like floats away, because you're not creating any more mass, right? There's nothing inside. You're just all empty space.
That being said, though, to the question of whether he can or can't do it, it would stand to reason that he could, right? So
Yeah, sure.
If he's able to shrink and then also get back to his normal body size, presumably he would also be able to, because he's already expanding. Like, he shrinks and then he expands back to his normal size.
Sure.
So if by logic, he's already expanding, so presumably he should be able to expand
some more.
And if you think about it, and this was another moment that I loved from the movie, where he's like, here's the truck, here's the shuriken, the expanding shuriken, throw this at the truck. I love that moment because one, it paid off one of the powers that you see him use in Ant-Man, which was great.
Yeah.
But then the other part of it is, it's comedic, but that also goes to show, like, expanding and growing is part of his power set now.
Right.
Which I thought was great.
I think it's pretty cool. I loved that moment in the movie. He would be, physically, he should be very buoyant. He should float really nicely.
Yeah,
at that point.
based on the explanation.
Yeah. Other than that, that was cool. So, let's see, what other questions are? I think we've covered a lot of the bases here. Let's see. Ant-Man said he might rip himself apart when he expanded. That's true. That's true.
Right, that's the other thing, is like it's still kind of a power to be tested.
Yeah.
It does make me curious about like what happens in Ant-Man 2.
Yeah, me too.
What new stuff gets revealed. The thing I love about Ant-Man, and the thing that they have done so well throughout the series, what they did in the first movie, what they've done in his appearance here, is the fact that his powers are the most interesting. They do such fun and interesting things with his power set. Hopping into Tony Stark's suit, In Ant-Man itself, you know, the whole like battle along the in the like toy train.
Yeah.
You're able to do so many funny, interesting things with that character. And now with the expansion stuff too, right? Like with him growing big. There's so many cool things that you can do. I'm really, really excited to see what they do with him in kind of his next movie.
Yeah, me too.
I'm also really curious to see what they do in Spider-Man Homecoming with Spider-Man.
Oh, that's
and
true.
And what story they want to tell with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
I hope he stays as awesome as he is now.
Yes,
right.
agreed.
And I think, you know, we're getting down to the nitty gritty right now. Get Wrecked Games and Hottie needs more screen time.
I also appreciated that interpretation.
I did too. I thought that was cool. I first saw her in the movie The Mona Lisa Smile from like the late 1990s or something, and she was awesome in that. And then you've seen her like start to appear a lot more. It feels like in movies lately. She's awesome. I forget her name. She's great though.
What I appreciated about Aunt Hottie is, you know, you always see kind of like old Aunt May. Like that's always the way she's portrayed. You know, to me, the most iconic version of her is the one from the comics. Or not the comics, the from the animated series, Spider-Man the animated series. And so to see kind of like a younger version of Aunt May, I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I thought that was a strong choice. And then of course to see Tony Stark again creeping on her, bad touch.
Yeah.
I thought, you know, super in character with him. Just provided a lot of good comedy. I thought that was a win.
Okay. So let's see. Ant-Man science. Let's see.
What else is going on Twitter?
Thoughts on Black Widow being on both sides? Fine.
Yeah, I mean, it
seems in her character to play both
life.
sides. It really does. Let's see. Oh, this is a good question actually, and we were talking about this yesterday. Do you think Marvel Netflix characters like Daredevil and Jessica Jones will be in the Marvel movies? I hope so. I'm really excited to see those universes start to overlap. Right? It's all Marvel. And I know there's like rights with Netflix versus theaters or whatever, but those actors and those characters are all owned by Marvel, so they should be able to bring them into whatever like situation they want. Either bring some of the movie characters over to Netflix or some of the Netflix characters over to movies. And I'm so excited to see like Jessica Jones and Daredevil both.
I read an article actually that says about how difficult
it
is to do.
Really?
Yeah, because they're different operating bodies at Marvel / Disney.
That's fair.
And so everyone getting in alignment, even though obviously everyone would think like, oh, the movies take precedent over everything. The way that the talent contracts are struck and stuff, I hear that it's really hard to do.
I mean, I could totally see a lot of internal red tape and like bureaucracy because these companies are huge, right? It's Marvel and Disney.
I mean, they're all the same at this point.
I know, but the thing you're saying is they're not actually the same. If they were the same,
they're departments
they could
within the same
cross over.
company.
But the companies are so big and they all have so many divisions, and obviously they haven't always been the same company forever. And so, you know, some of these contracts may have been set up at one point in time when, you know, these movie rights were hashed out and stuff like that, and the Netflix contracts are totally different. So, and like the world of Netflix and digital entertainment has also changed so much in the last even like 3 to 5 years that I'm sure the conversation is like totally different. So no, I could totally see it taking a really long time, but are we excited to see it happen? Yeah, absolutely. That would be awesome.
Yes. No, I'm
You working it out over there?
Yeah.
Crack, crack, blam, blam?
Crack, blam, blam.
All right.
No, I totally agree. I think I'm a big fan of Jessica Jones. I thought season 1 of Daredevil was really good. Season 2 was a bit slower. I like Punisher a lot.
Yeah.
And so I'm really eagerly expect that you can't have all. The thing is, with Marvel setting this whole thing up the way that they have, you can't not have them in this. Like, Marvel has done such a good job of setting up the whole idea of, hey, you need to kind of follow all of our different properties and shows and universes in order to like get the maximum payoff for all these things, that it makes sense. So
yeah. Gina at Wake Up Tink says, supposedly, I don't know for sure, but Daredevil has a contract that includes at least one movie. That's exciting.
That is exciting.
I could see them writing stuff like that in. Like,
I mean, they would have to.
6 seasons in a movie.
Right.
You know? My phone is getting really excited.
Jeez.
So, Jason's like, you're supposed to turn off your phone. Let's see. How about Agent of Shield's Agent of Shield characters with all the Inhumans they have now?
I don't know much about. So that's the one thing that's the one part of the Marvel universe I am not familiar. I have not watched Agents of Shield. I don't think I'm alone in that.
Yeah.
Jason, have you watched Agents of Shield at all?
I've seen a couple episodes, but I don't watch it
What do you think?
consistently.
I've heard mixed things. Right? I hear that people are like, it's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the whole Inhumans thing. We were reading like what movies are coming down the pipeline for Marvel because we're like, oh man, when does Infinity War come out? Like it's got to be coming pretty soon, and it is obviously. But I saw that the Inhumans movie is planned, and I'm like, oh, I don't know what that is. I wonder what that is.
Yeah.
So I'll be curious to learn more about them.
Metal Gear Shuckle. Her name is Marissa. Is that Marissa Tomei?
Oh, that's it. Yes.
Is it Marissa? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, that's right.
Let's see.
Good one, Shuckle.
Right?
Metal Gear Shuckle. Those are two game franchises that you don't think of crossing over all that often.
Right? Are you excited for Spider-Man Homecoming? I think we answered that one. That one was a yes.
Yep.
That one was from Elijah Gamer at Picklefish96.
Oh, Picklefish.
The new Spider-Man movie. I asked earlier, but it was lost. Oh.
Well, we got it.
Yep, we got it. So.
But again, I'm curious because we've seen so many different Spider-Man stories and so many of the Spider-Man villains at this point.
I'm almost afraid of what they're gonna like. I want to see what they're gonna do with it, and I'm really excited about it. But I don't want to get my hopes up too much, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, certainly.
Let's see. Ooh, you should play Lego Marvel Superheroes. Oh, that would have been a fun one.
That's a good one.
Oh, that's good. At DJ Pixarian.
But then you would miss all this classic Captain America SNES action right
Shucking
here.
and jiving going on.
Right, look at this.
You would never have seen Overly Tan Man.
Or Chewed Bubblegum Man.
Or Chewed Bubblegum Man.
Or Helicopter Scythe Man.
It's true.
This guy
all
right
of
here.
those people would have been lost. So yeah.
Correct.
Is there anything else, or does that about wrap up the movie for us? Did you have any other parting thoughts on the movie?
My parting thought is.
Ooh, okay, one more question. One more question, because this is a good one and I just spotted it. Liam Johnson, what is your opinion on needing to read the comics to be a true member of the fandom?
That's a tough one.
Ooh.
That's philosophical.
I think my answer to that, and I think it's really a matter of opinion. I think the answer to that one is no, and this is why. I think if you look at other franchises that have a big reading component, things like Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, even the Lord of the Rings series, I think you can be a fan of those series without having read all the source material. And I'm a huge Lord of the Rings books fan. I love those books. I love the Harry Potter books. I've read some of the Game of Thrones books, and I think you can be a true fan of those cinematic or TV franchises without actually having to read tons and tons of books, comics, whatever it is. I don't think that's necessary.
Yeah, and to me, again, I'm not one of those type of, similar to what I said beginning of the stream, I'm not one of those type of people who categorize myself as like, oh, I'm a diehard Marvel fan, or I'm a diehard DC for life, whatever. Even back, it's so easy to want to categorize yourself into, the true fan versus the not true fan, the casual gamer versus the hardcore gamer, whatever. If something is good, just appreciate it,
Yeah.
And for people to, separate themselves out as, oh, I'm the hardcore, Game of Thrones. I think Game of Thrones is a really interesting example where it's I read the books, and so, I'm so much better. It's are you, it's good that you read the books, and I appreciate that, and it's awesome that you're coming to the series with deeper knowledge and deeper appreciation of these characters.
Or just that's a thing that you enjoyed. That's cool.
And that's great. But does that make you more of a fan?
Does that make you more of a fan of the TV show? No.
Does it make you more of a fan of the franchise? Yeah, probably. Because you went out and I'm trying to think. Does it make you more of a fan?
That wasn't even the question.
Yeah, what's the question?
You need to read the comics to be a true member of the fandom.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
That I don't think so.
I would classify myself as a fan of the Marvel movies,
Yeah.
even though I'm lightly affiliated with the comics.
Right.
And what I'm excited about is and I think what's exciting about this time is so much of traditionally nerd culture, Star Wars, Marvel comic movies, DC comic movies, video games, Star Trek, is a great example. So much of that has entered into the popular culture at this point that, that you're talking about Star Wars with your parents, and that you're talking about it with, like, the neighbor next door who's, like, 50 years old who went to see, and, like, what's this Star Wars thing? She was around when Star Wars was first happening.
She knows what Star Wars. She was around when the original came out.
It's more mainstream to talk about, like, Star Trek and things like that, and to encourage people to be like, oh, well, if you like Star Trek, then you should totally check out XYZ. Like, you're going to really love that. Or, hey, if you're familiar with X-Men movies, check this out. That, to me, is the big win and the most exciting thing about where we are culturally right now, is that time where nerddom is just prevalent, and you can share that enthusiasm and that fan base for whatever franchise it is with so many people. Does that make you more or less of a fan? I think, does it really matter at the end of, like, it's not a competition, right? Like, it shouldn't be a competition. It should just be like, hey, we're all fans of this thing together, and that's really cool. And if I know knowledge that you don't have, and I can, either share that with you or encourage you to experience it with me in a different way, that's cool.
Right.
And I think it's education for education. So, like, that's
fun.
It's a shared enthusiasm rather than a competition, and I think that's what's most exciting about it. So, for me, labels.
No labels, man.
There's no need to label things. So anyway, I think that's a good place to break it.
Yeah, that's nice.
I did not beat Captain America, unfortunately.
That's okay. You made a really valiant effort. You got pretty far.
It is still a hard game.
Yeah.
After all these years, it is still hard. So anyway, that's it for today. We'll be back tomorrow, 4:00 p.m. Pacific time, for
Extra Scary Games Friday.
Extra Scary Games Friday, because it is Friday the 13th, so hopefully you'll be able to tune in tomorrow for that, 4:00 p.m. Pacific time.
If you don't have bad luck. Friday the 13th is about bad luck.
Friday the 13th used to be my lucky day.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
What happened?
I can't tell you that until tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Cliffhanger for tomorrow. So anyway, hopefully we see you then. Go out, go see Civil War again. If you haven't seen it, I don't know why you're watching a spoiler stream, but go see it.
Go
if you've never watched an Avengers thing in your life, or Marvel Cinematic Universe, we highly encourage you to do so, just so you can talk knowledgeably about and experience it for yourself. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining us to talk about the movie and share your thoughts and questions. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you tomorrow. And remember, that's just a stream. A live stream. Thanks for...
saluting in?
I don't know. Thanks for... civil warring with us.
There's a lot of people to say goodbye to.
All right, let's say I have no good sign off today. All right. Michael Johnson, goodbye.
Drake Blaze, bye.
Amy C, yay horror.
James Wall, bye.
The Jewish Unicorn says I just got here. I'm sorry, Jewish
Unicorn. Aloris Velarosu, bye.
Ian Kwan, you still hot, has him. Yep, agreed.
That's cute.
Muriel loves Chris Evans. Muriel Abreu, I heart Chris Evans, goodbye.
Cooler Right Leader.